Welcome back to another episode of It's Controversial. I'm your host, Zachariah Jazz. I'm recording this here on occupied Taiba territory, otherwise known as Albuquerque, New Mexico. And together, let us continue this fight and struggle for Black and Indigenous liberation and solidarity for the unhoused community. So I have some pretty controversial content to talk with y'all about today. It's a YouTuber by the name of Cassady Campbell. Now, he pulls in his crowd by making parody or satire pranks of what he would call political correctness. And he covers a lot of controversial issues, right? But the way he does it, he would, especially his fan base, would label it as satire and parody, right? But what in all actuality, what he's doing is he's speaking on, or he's protesting against things that are in, I guess, the would-be mainstream, right? Like the social justice movements, Black Lives Matter, stuff like that. He's protesting against them in these city council meetings by pretending to be an advocate for them. While specifically in the one where he was acting as a Black Lives Matter advocate and activist and a black person in general, he said a lot of racist tropes. A lot of them. Now, anybody who was just making a normal parody wouldn't include all these racist tropes inside of their skit, right? Now, I've said this for a long time. I might not have said it on here, but I'm saying it now. Comedians damn near normalized racism. They desensitized the public to racism. They did this in a way of making light of it, telling jokes and stuff, while a lot of, especially black comedians, they speak on the realities that we face as a people, but where they fail is to try to change the narrative and try to end that. They never say why it's wrong or anything. They never use their platforms to denounce these things. Not that I recall. Maybe Cat Williams did a couple times. But, I don't hear Kevin Hart going on about it. Although, I've never really heard him, make light of racism. But still, a lot of them have. And white comedians. People, including myself, got to a point for so long, especially throughout like the 2000s and before Donald Trump. We all believed that racism was starting to go away because now we can just laugh at it. It's funny, it's a thing of the past, right? Until all these racists started coming up out of the woodworks and reminded us that their hate still exists, and told us, hey, don't become complacent and ignorant of these things. They still are here, and it's coming at you with assault rifles and swastikas and chants of Jews will not replace us. And a lot of things. So I'm going to show you this this clip from Cassady Campbell, and afterwards we'll, like I always do in normal fashion, we'll play it back, and I'll give my analysis of it as we go along. You know, and I want you to understand that this is not something that is easy for me to do. It causes a lot of anger and disgust within me, and it takes a lot out of me to do it, but I'm going to, because we have to, right? We have to. So here's Cassady Campbell's racist self, and then we'll pick it up from there.
All right, what up? What up, pimp? So, it's tax season right now. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to my kids. It's the only time of the year I ever play my kids. You feel? But yeah, shout out to them, you feel me? What I was gonna say was, so I just got my ancestry DNA test back, and I'm 2% black. The reason I'm up here today is cause y'all trifling, and we need to honor my homie George Floyd, who now been sober 2 years, and this is finna be called the Say His Name Bill. All right, so this is my ancestry DNA test. If y'all don't believe me, 2%. So first of all, let's take a knee to the Pledge of Allegiance of George Floyd while I recite the pledge. Everybody take a knee, please. I pledge allegiance to George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement and the causes for which they stand. One sentence. I can't breathe. With methamphetamine and fentanyl for all. Nobody took a knee, I see. I guess y'all racist. Y'all was taking a knee back in 2020, though. Am I the only one still taking knees? So, this is what's finna be on the bill, though, which will be for kindergarten through 12th grade for the month of April. So first of all, white kids need to hold their breath for 8 minutes every day. White kids have to do the black kids' schoolwork. White kids have to give black kids their lunch money. Or else, everyone will watch George Floyd's sex tape and write an essay on it. Every Veterans Day, we will honor George Floyd as he served as a security guard for the Salvation Army. Kids can receive bonus points in the classroom if they hold a pregnant woman at gunpoint. Kids can receive bonus points for using counterfeit $20 bills. Kids can receive bonus points if they record themselves having a fentanyl overdose and live. Students should purposely provoke the police because they're racist and try their best to receive police brutality and be celebrated by BLM with a peaceful protest. Students will be encouraged to do everything possible to get shot by the police and do not comply. White kids will sit in the back of the bus so that they can live the experience of Rosa Parks. Students will post a black square on all social media platforms to end racism and spread equality. Pre-made Molotov cocktails will be for sale in the school store, and it will be highly encouraged that they are used on school police cars. If a white kid acts up in the classroom, the teacher will be called to put on a knee on his neck. If a black kid shoots someone in school, it will be justified and labeled as self-defense because he was bullied, no matter what, due to skin color, and he will be celebrated as a national hero. Black kids will be issued guns in school for protection against white supremacy. The N-word will be called a trigger word, which means they will now be allowed to pull it. Black on black crime will be encouraged, as it is in Chicago, in order to end white supremacy in the name of the greatest mayor of all time, Lori Lightfoot. I love you, Lori. Bless you.
Can you just pause for 1 second? Do we have to allow this to continue?
Yeah, last time I checked, y'all took a knee for George Floyd. Chick-fil-A will no longer be able to be sold at schools, and Popeyes will replace them because Popeyes is nothing without black lives, and Chick-fil-A is culturally appropriated chicken. High-speed police chases will be encouraged, and all students who get in them will be moved up 1 grade and labeled as an honor student. Also, if the car you took in the police chase was stolen, you will receive a full ride scholarship to an HBCU. If the police chase ends in the shootout, you will automatically be given a free doctorate degree, and you will get a highway named after you. Also, since I'm here, where my reparations at? My ancestors were slaves. They built this country. And since they my ancestors, I'm a slave by DNA. So where my reparations at? I mean, we need to stop this racism. Hey, take a knee for me, Mayor. Take a knee like you did in 2020. Take a knee like you did in 2020. Come on, y'all. Shout out to my kids one more time. Last time you gonna see them until next tax season.
Thank you.
All right, peace out.
And now, my least favorite part. Going over it with y'all and giving you my analysis. But before I begin, y'all can, just from hearing that, you can understand how difficult this is going to be. Based on what you just heard, what would you think? Do you think that was just satire or parody? Do you think it was just a joke? Or do you think he really meant it? That's what I'm getting, right? He's saying all these things as in a context of, let's see, what's the word? I can't find the word. Contradiction or maybe hypocrisy. I don't know. I can't find the word, but still, he's obviously against these things, right? And it's his way of denouncing these things and attempting to call us out on our bullshit, when really he's only making himself look worse, in my eyes, anyway. And all of the people who agree with him, it just makes them all look worse. But anyway, let's run it back. Let's go over this bullshit real quick.
Alright, what up? What up, pimp? So, it's tax season right now. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to my kids. It's the only time of the year I ever play my kids. You feel?
Okay. Trope number 1. He's referring to the absent black father in, black communities. Now, more often than not, let's start from the beginning, right? It's something that goes back to even the Reconstruction period after the Civil War, and the gentrification and displacement of black people and black communities within white neighborhoods into their own segregated areas, what are called ghettos or the projects, right? And how black communities were systematically, destroyed is the best word I can think of it. And how black men were criminalized systematically, intentionally. Cause it's like in Straight Outta Compton, the movie, when Cube's son, I guess, the actor, but Cube was saying that black people don't make crack or something. It was like, I'm not a chemist, we don't go to Colombia to get it, and we don't go to Russia to get AKs. I'm just another nigga in the hood. Because we didn't just get these things, we don't got nothing. How do you think we're getting drugs in these communities? How do you think it started? You really think we're going all the way to Colombia or wherever the fuck, Vietnam, to get Vietnam for heroin, or Colombia to get, cocaine, cook, rock, crack? You think that us not having an education because of any opportunity of gaining wisdom was stripped from us by white masters, slave owners, and those who held dominion over us? Do you think we had the capability or know how to cook crack just because? No. We were taught. do you think we were the ones who brought, put a liquor store in our communities instead of grocery stores, instead of, bringing in other, corporate jobs to create revenue in the black communities? Instead, we have this gas station owned by some Koreans or some white folks, not even black owned. We didn't do that, obviously. So what's the outcome of that, right? Selling drugs, fighting over the drugs, fighting over the territory, fighting over the customers. Ultimately, criminalizing us for it, calling us thugs and gangsters. And then criticizing us when there are no black fathers to father these children because their daddies were gunned down by the cops or another brother, or in prison for the rest of his life because of the systematic deconstruction of the black community imposed on us. It all didn't just happen. Black men are born to be fathers. That's what my dad always told me. Specifically Smiths. We're born to teach our men how to be leaders. Now that sounds like maybe a little bit toxic masculinity, but that's how I grew up. That's how I was taught. I've learned a lot of that, so don't go, trying to cancel me now, but still. If we're not in our child's life for any amount of time, it's for a reason. One that somebody won't always understand. But sometimes it's not our choice because of the examples that I just provided. So, anyway, back to the racism here.
Yeah, shout out to them, you feel me? What I was gonna say was, so I just got my ancestry DNA test back and I'm 2% black. The reason I'm up here today is cause y'all trifling and we need to honor my homie George Floyd, who now been sober 2 years, and this is finna be called the
just because you're 2%, that doesn't mean anything, and then probably wasn't even real anyway. But he said, shout out to George Floyd. He's been sober for 2 years. Of course he's been sober 2 years because he's been dead for 2 years. That's what he was saying.
His name Bill. Alright, so this is my ancestry DNA test if y'all don't believe me. 2%. So, first of all, let's take a knee to the Pledge of Allegiance of George Floyd while I recite the pledge. Everybody take a knee, please. I pledge allegiance to George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement and the causes for which they stand. One sentence. I can't breathe. With methamphetamine and fentanyl for all. No.
That goes to, like, what's his name? The dude with, Charlie Kirk. How he was pushing this false information of saying that George Floyd died of a drug overdose, or because he was on fentanyl or something like that, which it wasn't true, and it was proven in the Derek Chauvin case, and that's why he got indicted for, what was it, 21 years? I don't remember. That could definitely be wrong, but yeah, so he's wrong, and he should know that because it was proven. that what he died of was asphyxiation.
When he took a knee, I guess y'all racist. Y'all was taking a knee back in 2020, though. Am I the only one still taking knees? So, this is what's finna be on the bill, though, which will be for kindergarten through 12th grade for the month of April. So, first of all, white kids need to hold their breath for 8 minutes every day. White kids have to do the black kids' schoolwork. White kids have to give black kids their lunch money. Or else, everyone will watch George Floyd's sex tape and write an essay on it. Every Veterans Day, we will honor George Floyd as he served as a security guard for the Salvation Army. Kids can receive bonus points in the classroom if they hold a pregnant woman at gunpoint. Kids can receive bonus points for using counterfeit $20 bills. Kids can receive bonus points if they record themselves having a fentanyl overdose.
See, now what he's going on is because you know how I also mentioned this several times on the channel, how people will always try to justify the killing of a black person by a cop and try to justify it by using their criminal background against them, saying, oh, this man was a career criminal, da da da, why are you so sad that he's dead? You should be grateful, or whatever the fuck. That's what he's saying right now. And he's also bashing critical race theory because all these people still believe that it is taught in K through 12 curriculum when it's not. It's a higher learning curriculum, meaning outside of high school into college or graduate school, whatever the hell. That's what he's saying right now, and mocking us when we say that we need reparations, we demand reparations. That's what he's doing.
And live. Students should purposely provoke the police because they're racist and strive their best to receive police brutality and be celebrated by BLM.
Because, see, what he doesn't understand, or what he doesn't see, or refuses to see, or he sees but refuses to admit it, is the two different justice systems, right? How black people are treated when we don't comply versus how white people are treated when they don't comply. If you need a reminder, I'm going to share it. I'm going to put the link down in the description of the video I made after the murder of Dante Wright. He did whatever.
With a peaceful protest, students will be encouraged to do everything possible to get shot by the police and do not comply. White kids will sit in the back of the bus so that they can live the experience of Rosa Parks. Students will post a black square on all social media platforms to end racism and spread equality. Pre-made Molotov cocktails will be for sale in the school store, and it will be highly encouraged that they are used on school police cars. If a white kid acts up in the classroom, the teacher will be called to put on a knee on his neck. If a black kid shoots someone in school, it will be justified and labeled as self-defense because he was bullied, no matter what, due to skin color, and he will be celebrated as a national hero. Black kids will be issued guns in school for protection against white supremacy. The N-word will be called a trigger word, which means they will now be allowed to pull it. Black-on-black crime will be encouraged, as it is in Chicago, in order to end white supremacy in the name of the greatest mayor of all time, Lori Lightfoot.
Chicago is a tragic story. Now, after, during Reconstruction and before the Civil War, right, Chicago was booming in industrial city. it was a center of American manufacturing, right? There was so many jobs there, and so after slavery had been ended, or slavery was ended, right, and Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, a lot of black people from the South moved up to Chicago to try to get jobs. Now, white people, of course, didn't like this. They didn't like this. They made a boogeyman out of black people, saying they're coming to steal your jobs, coming to take your wife, coming to take your kids. So, as more and more black people came into Chicago, more and more jobs started to leave Chicago. So that all the money started to leave Chicago, with only a select few with ties. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? But so a lot of jobs left, a lot of drugs entered through, the pipelines of systematic decimation, I guess. I don't even know how to phrase it. Came in and started criminalizing the black communities. Because, of course, why would we say no? Like, we need to make money. Oh, there's a drug, let's sell it. You know what I mean? So only the wealthiest parts of Chicago ever got rebuilt, ever got funding, programs, good schools, good jobs, stuff like that. While black neighborhoods still to this day are forgot about, are falling apart. While black people there are still killing each other over nickels and dimes. It's a prime example of white supremacy. And of course, he's right. It is permittable there, because nobody is doing anything to stop it. Not in the mainstream anyway. Not for people like him to know about. But there are grassroots organizations on the ground in Chicago actively trying to teach and unteach some of the things that the only things that we know how to do is sell drugs and shoot guns. Trying to teach some political education so that we may take control of our own lives. Same thing in Detroit. A new era of Detroit. They're a grassroots organization trying to make a difference out there. So there are things to try to combat this narrative. But of course, they're not going to put it in the mainstream because they don't want to see black people doing good unless you're Will Smith or Chris Rock or somebody being exploited by the very systems that white people create. We're back to it.
I love you, Lori. Bless you.
Can you just pause for 1 second? Do we have to allow this to continue?
Yeah, last time I checked, y'all took a knee for George Floyd. Chick-fil-A will no longer be
Okay. Of course, you're going to allow it to continue because he's there, he's talked for several minutes, and nobody has stopped him. So of course you're going to let it continue. Because you're all probably laughing, to be honest.
To sell, be sold at schools, and Popeyes will replace them because Popeyes is nothing without black lives, and Chick-fil-A is culturally appropriated chicken. High-speed police chases will be encouraged, and all students who get in them will be moved up one grade and labeled as an honor student. Also, if the car you took in the police chase was stolen, you will receive a full ride scholarship to an HBCU. If the police chase ends in the shootout, you will automatically be given a free doctorate degree and you will get a highway named after you. Also, since I'm here, where my reparations at? My ancestors were slaves. They built this country. And since they my ancestors, I'm a slave by DNA. So where my reparations at? I mean, we need to stop this racism. Hey, take a knee for me, Mayor. Take a knee like you did in 2020. Take a knee like you did in 2020. Come on, y'all. Shout out my kids one more time. Last time you gonna see them till next tax season. Thank you. All right. Peace out.
Oh no, I don't even know what to say for that. Y'all can make that what you will. It's just more hate. It's just a lot more hate. Anyway, so in this next clip I'm going to show you, it's him giving an interview to a news outlet called Rebel News. It's I believe a Canadian, right-wing conservative news outlet, not on the mainstream, more underground, I guess. But yeah, here's that, so you can get a feel of why he's doing what he does. And yeah, I guess, I don't know. Here you go.
Hi,
How's it going, ma'am? So,
with that shirt, I'm not even gonna talk to you.
are you willing to protect our trans kids? I'm part of the Beta Aurora campaign.
Okay,
We're going door to door.
Sorry. Have a good day.
No. Oh, that is gold. That's actually gold. Students will post a black square on all social media platforms to end racism and spread equality. One of the people I look up to, who I've begun to love, is Klaus Schwab, and he said by 2030 you will own nothing and be happy. If I just go out there and say, guys, the world is evil, these people are doing this, and this, and I even show them the facts, you don't get the best response. But when you show them the way I'm showing them, it gets a way better response.
Lincoln J for Rebel News, bringing you a special interview with American YouTuber Cassady Campbell. Cassady has been doing pranks and other various content online for the past 5 years, where he acts as different characters he's created. Check it out.
$1.69 on me. Can you get this for me? What's that?
Put them on there.
Put them on there. All right, bet.
But is that what you're doing? Just walking up asking people for $1.69? You know, just ain't nothing. You could open that up.
But some people say no. All right.
Have a good day.
Hey, I'm gonna pay for your groceries because you did that.
You're not paying for my
Yeah, I am.
Hi, sir. I'm here from the Beta Aurora campaign. Are you familiar with Beta? So I noticed that you don't have an LGBTQ flag. You have to at least show your stance on LGBTQ, sir.
Recently, Cassady has brought his humor into the political spectrum, where he speaks at city council meetings in his home state of Texas, where he shines light on the political correctness that we see in the Western world.
This man is evil. And this was my favorite platform, and I'm going to tell you why it is ruined.
My name is Cassady Campbell. I live in Texas, just right outside of Dallas, and I've been doing YouTube pranks for close to 5 years, and I kind of just started going in the political direction.
But the doctors say they don't know what caused it, but I know what caused it. It was a stress from the Donald Trump supporters and the science deniers.
Pranks are funny and stuff, but there's not really a purpose behind it. At least, with what I'm doing now, I see a purpose behind it. So
It's still comedy, right, what you're doing in the political spectrum, but what made you want to dive into that world?
Well, to be honest, I've been trying to do it for a while. It's just more so about finding the right way to do it, and I found that right way, because I found that if I just go out there and say, guys, the world is evil, these people are doing this, and this, and I even show them the facts, you don't get the best response. But when you show them the way I'm showing them, it gets a way better response. It's just insane how it works, man.
Hey, get Joe Biden out of here for real, y'all. And I just want to say this: we need to do something with these gas prices. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like that's a gift, God gave me with the comedy. So I'm using it to the best of my ability and trying to wake people up. So it's working.
Hi, my name is Marty Epstein, and the reason I am here today is because I am offended. The Dallas Cowboys have a very problematic name, as it is not gender neutral.
You're going to these meetings pretty consistently. Are they starting to catch on at all?
Oh, they know. They 100% know. They're trying to do these little tactics like in Plano. What they're trying to do now is, so last time they moved the public comment, which is like when people like me can speak, or anybody for that matter, they moved it to the very end. And they cut it down to 1 minute from 3 minutes because they're absolutely terrified. And there's definitely people that are higher up that are telling them to do this.
Mr. Mayor, why'd you live in our time? Why'd you cut our time down? You don't have anything to say? Why'd you cut our time down? Why'd you cut our time down? Do you have an explanation, or are you just a coward?
They're allowed to do that.
No, they're not. That's the First Amendment.
All the time.
These are real issues.
Happens in
These are
meetings
real.
all the time.
No, but they can't be
You're an
doing that.
actor.
That's the first. No. These are real issues going on in the world. You're telling me they don't want LGBTQ?
You're an actor.
No, they don't
You're
want
an actor.
LGBTQ.
I've seen you
Black
with
Lives
Grapevine,
Matter.
I've seen you with
But
Dallas.
these are real issues.
How's the feedback been overall, I guess, on social media, maybe even in real life? Are you finding that people are really supporting your message? I'm sure you're having some haters as well. How's that been?
I mean, it's mostly great feedback, to be honest, and mostly positive. There's haters no matter what you're doing, man. So
Where can people find you online? What's the best way to see your content?
so my YouTube channel is just Cassady Campbell. My Twitter is C Campbell based, and then my Instagram is just Cassady Campbell.
Time to cancel Cassady Campbell. As always, take care of each other. Love one another. We protect us. And stop giving the homeless such a hard time. Instead, give them food. Your host, Zachariah Jazz. This is It's Controversial. I'm out.